This is Danny and Dusty.
Meringatang is going to be a thing.
You're not coining anything new.
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
I'll throw some monkey sounds in there and call it good.
The old Danny Meringue pie?
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
The Fan.
Good afternoon.
Oh, hi.
Hey, welcome in.
Oh, hi.
Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing?
Oh, splendiferous.
Yeah? Splendiferous. It's a Blazer game day, so you got to be happy.
I hope y'all had a shitty day.
There you go.
Brian Kelly never disappoints. Actually, always disappoints.
Always disappoints.
Yeah.
No, I have to get all my happiness out now so that I can fully embrace my grumpy bear tonight.
Are you going to be Is this okay? Do we need to address this? Are we going to go?
I'll wear it on the radio tomorrow, but I'm going to put it up to the camera so you can see it.
Oh, you actually are. Oh, wow.
It is a full
Like a legitimate
onesie grumpy bear costume.
I like this. Nothing is more fitting than you dressed as a grumpy bear.
I have makeup and for TV, and I'm debating taking said TV makeup and just drawing whiskers on my face.
I think you need to.
I think I do. Right?
I think okay. Yeah, that's better than you going absolutely like blue face.
Well, no, let's do that. Like there's like a little mask that comes with this. Like
okay.
It's like a. I don't think they intended this when it originally came out. Like because I got the costume during COVID.
What is it, like a snout?
It's like it has like a full on like painted grumpy bear face on the mask.
Gotcha.
But it's not really like a COVID mask, but it's kind of the same vein. But I think they maybe just intended it just to be a regular mask.
Danny's K95
Yeah, exactly.
costume.
Yeah. So,
all right. Hey,
I'm just wondering if my Lieutenant Dangle costume is going to be an HR violation.
Is that what you?
I bought it years ago when Sandy was like a year or two old, and I've never worn it.
Please tell me you have white cowboy boots.
I don't.
That's
the thing I'm missing. I need the white cowboy boots, and I need the cop shades, but I definitely need the boots for some new boot goofing. And yeah.
Reno 911. I love that show.
Oh, just tremendous.
It was so good.
So good. So good.
Nick Swardson was electric in it. The whole cast was
I was murdered.
That was a really good cast. They cast that show perfectly.
Yes.
They did a really good. I love Reno 911.
Yeah. Well, I believe
that's one of my favorites.
I believe Dangle and Junior were like the creative forces behind the show.
Okay.
And which, makes some sense, but yeah. It's tremendously underrated.
It doesn't matter though. Every time I hear Lieutenant Dangle, I still will go back to Forrest Gump, Lieutenant Dan, then I have to reprogram to know
working with Ack.
Completely opposite.
Yeah.
Dangle and Lieutenant Dan not the same.
Yeah, just
not
merge the two to get together. Lieutenant Dangle, you got new boots.
Yeah, we've got a lot that we need to get to today, guys. We got a lot that we got to get to.
No,
we got idiot. We got idiot fans. We've got. We will have story time with Uncle Jerry. Jerry Allen is
so
going
weird
to be
how they were
joining
Yankee
us.
fans too.
Yes, we will dive wholly into idiot Yankee fans. And hey, how about the Yankees actually winning a game in the World Series? Huh? Hey, congrats, guys!
They got one, yeah.
You didn't get smoked.
No, they didn't at all. No sweep. I'm here for it. I love it.
Sun even shines on a dog's arse some days.
We've got some Blazers and some NBA that we need to get into today. A lot of football, including a trade deadline that this could get a little bit spicy. And I've got a theory on one team that I want to bounce off of you guys because it could be a mysterious trade deadline. But if my conspiracy is right, I think it will all make sense. And then I got to get this out of the way, though. Next Tuesday cannot come fast enough.
Oh?
Oh, my Lord. Yeah, they're coming more fast and more furiously than they have for a couple weeks.
We need to address these political ads are ridiculous. Watching the World Series last night, it was you almost had to change the channel in between innings. It's nonstop. And
Which you can't do if you're a cord cutter.
riddle me this, Batman.
Mm-hmm.
When is the last time you saw a political ad that was actually discussing what any of the candidates are running on their platform? Because I watched 3.5 hours of baseball last night,
Yeah.
and all I learned is that no matter who you vote for,
Everyone's bad.
They're all bad.
The other person is an a-hole.
They all are. They are all supporting rapists or going and getting abortions, but against abortion. They are all for transgender or just completely against transgender people.
Letting immigrants come in and murder everybody.
All it is. It was relentless,
Yeah,
and it is not one side of the aisle, and nobody should be like, no, this is an attack on both political parties, major political parties. It's all it is.
The one here,
It's ridiculous.
I keep getting the Portland City Council ads popping up, which is funny because I can't vote for that because I don't live in Portland. But
my favorite is you watch college football and it's all about like the Texas Senate race.
Yeah, whatever state the game's being played in. Yeah, it's like, what the hell is this?
Like, this doesn't apply to me.
Like, why are you doing national ad buys here? This is weird. But like, the one thing that I've learned is that every candidate for that office is a terrible, terrible human. Like,
yes.
like not even like there's zero redemptive qualities. It's just nothing but hit piece after hit piece. And the thing is, like, I tend to think they actually are terrible humans because the stuff that you hear, and it's from everyone, and you just kind of go down the list of it, and you're like, oh, these people suck. And it's just like, there's no, like, in the past, you can maybe get mildly excited for a candidate of like, oh, this person's different. Like, they haven't been in politics for 40 years, and they don't have 100 unpaid parking tickets, and there isn't video of them backing into somebody in a parking lot and then just walking past and ignoring it. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is going on here? It's so weird.
I find it funny because there are two people that I went to college with that are running locally.
Okay.
There is Tobias Reed, who was, I believe, for Secretary of State. He lived across the hall from me in Matthews Hall at Willamette my freshman year.
All right.
And then
you guys took different paths.
Yes, we did. And then Rene Gonzalez, he was one of my fraternity brothers at Beta Theta Pi down at Willamette, running for mayor.
Wow.
Yeah, we're a little bit on the opposite side of the spectrum there, but
Look at you. Look at Rust, though. See, that's what happens when you don't go to a directional school. I did not have any people that I lived across the hall from that are running for office currently. You know?
You know, I know people that have been in office in various states, and I just keep my mouth shut because those are guys that I did very terrible things with.
Oh,
and I go,
okay.
I trust you.
We could. The funny thing is that with both Tobias Reed and Gabe, we called him Gabe. It was Rene Gabriel Gonzalez, but anyway, we called him Gabe. With Tobias, we could tell that he was going to be like. Even then, I could tell he was going to be a politician. And then Rene was like our chapter president for a year or so too. And
that always feels like a problem. Like if you can tell someone's going to be a politician, I'm like,
when they're 20 years old,
that's not good.
Yeah. But no, he's so far as I can tell, he's been I think he's currently the treasurer for the state of Oregon. Is Tobias Reed. But yeah.
Got his hands in the money, huh?
Oh man. All right. Well, that's my rant on these commercials that we're watching, because it's not about it's just why you shouldn't vote for them. I have no idea why I should vote for you, but just don't vote for them.
Just don't vote for this person.
Just don't vote for them. Golly, it really is. We're living in a full season of Parks and Rec. That's what we're doing right now. And that's sad because that's a satirical show.
Yeah, like that's not supposed to be real.
Yeah. And that's back-to-back days. We have the pollution of the Sweetums factory from our worst day on the web yesterday, where it was a tomato factory, and now we have the political ads. Go negative. Go negative. Just dive in all negative all the time. Let's go.
Terry Crews for president.
Could you imagine, though, like if you, I don't know, like if it's your parent or your aunt or your uncle, and they're like, wow. You're like a kid just sitting there like, goodness gracious, why are they talking about Uncle Danny like that?
Well, with me, they know. They know.
Oh man! All right, so I can't wait for Tuesday. Actually, I probably can, because it'll get better. We got a lot that we got to get to. We want to start with the who. Where do we even start with this show? Because we got Uncle Jerry coming up at 12:30.
Yeah.
Jerry Allen will join us at 12:30. I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a fun chat because we got a big game. I don't know if you knew about this. Oregon is going to Michigan. They're going to the Big House. These are one of the games, one of the venues that a lot of people have been looking forward to. So I'm excited for it. And Jerry was on the call for the last time they were there back 2007. I don't know if you guys remember Statue of Liberties.
Oh, was that a thing?
Two of them in the Big House. So Jerry will join us at 12:30. There is I think let's start with Idiot Fans. Do you want to? Let's go.
I think it's a good place.
Let's go Idiot Fans, because that seems to be the story of the day in the world of sports. What we saw last night, it truly was the worst of fandom.
And
But
the best?
Was it the best as well? Danny and Dusty on the Fan. We get a Game 5 in the World Series. Thank goodness. The New York Yankees avoided the sweep last night at home. 11-4. The dam broke against the Dodgers. But how about that Freddie Freeman? 6 straight World Series with the home run.
Still pretty good.
Oh, my goodness. It is so fun. When you get a guy who is on a heater and a guy who's just locked in like that, where every time he steps to the plate, you expect greatness to happen, and then he delivers in almost relatively quickly in every account, right? After game 1, I think everybody, when you have a walk-off grand slam and everybody's like, well, that's 3 straight World Series games dating back to his days in Atlanta. Freddie Freeman's hit a home run. Everybody just starts expecting it, and then the dude just lives up to the billing time and time again. That is the greatness of sports. It's like Dame late in the game, right?
I mean, Freddie Freeman doing this, 6 straight home runs, all-time record, and then also having...
Is that good?
Yeah, that's it's insane. 6 straight games with a home run in the World Series, which, number one, it shows you his ability to get back to the World Series, but also the only walk-off grand slam in the history of the World Series. Like, you're doing things on the biggest stage in your sport that literally nobody else has done, and the World Series has been around for 120 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're doing something in a sport that's been around that long, that just shows you just how rare of an air it is.
Yeah.
And how he's solidified himself. I mean, he's already a Hall of Famer when you're an MVP and a World Series winner. You're going to find your way there. But now he's solidified himself as a absolute no-doubter, like, you know, not a Mount Rushmore guy, but like sitting up on the top of Mount Olympus, as it were, a you know, Greek god status of baseball.
He is at that point, and look, he is worthy of Hall of Fame prior to this, but I mean, then you have these moments, you have these clutch postseason moments. He is now becoming surefire, no doubt. But in that game, it wasn't just Freddie Freeman getting the Dodgers out to an early 2-0 lead with the first inning home run. It was what happened in the bottom of the first inning that Yankee fans are saying is the spark to what could be the most improbable comeback of all time. And it is based off of, I think everybody can agree, one of the most idiotic moments of all time. Bottom of the first inning, no outs, Gleyber Torres up to bat, a fly ball into foul territory down the right field line. Mookie Betts goes up for this ball.
Fly to right by Torres. Betts in the corner. Does he have room? Fights with the fan. And they're going to say that it's an out and fan interference.
Joe Davis on the call for Fox last night.
Pretty innocuous call there, considering what happened.
Boy, Joe Davis, though, in the moment, I could feel John Smoltz in his anger without saying a word. Because Joe Davis was like, oh, yeah, look at that fan. He's wrestling with Mookie Betts. Grabs Mookie Betts' glove and just starts raking at it.
Just has the jaws of life on it.
Meanwhile, his bro wearing sunglasses at 8:30 at night in New York grabs Mookie's throwing hand and is like holding him up, and they're just raking at the ball, and they finally pop it out, and they're like, what? He dropped the ball.
And that dude, he looked like the most Yankee fan of Yankee fans ever.
You've ever seen, yeah.
And I believe I saw in the ESPN article, the guy's name was like Joey Capobianco.
No. It's Austin
Capobianco.
It's Austin Capobianco.
Yeah.
And he's the most New York fan of New York fans.
Yes.
That you could ever expect. And did you see his reaction when the umpire came down the line? The umpire starts to talk to him about dude, you're out of here. You can't do that. And he was like, what? He came into the stands like it's almost his territory. Like it was totally fine for him to rip the ball out of the glove. At that point, I was just like, oh boy. And that is the worst of fans. If in Mookie Betts, like cussing him out, dude, this guy's lucky that that's all that happened with Mookie Betts, because when you grab him by the wrist and his buddy tries to hold him into the stands and hold off his offhand with the other one, dude, all bets are off at that point.
Yeah.
Imagine if that had happened courtside at an NBA game.
Yeah, Ron Artest is tearing your head off and spitting down your neck.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the NBA, what, popcorn? Remember popcorn getting dumped on? Like, that was, people were calling for assault on that. This dude, Capobianco, actually grabbed Mookie Betts and tried to hold him in and pull him into the stands to get the ball out, right? And on the surface, and I think we can all agree, like, that's the worst of fandom, right? It's like you're actually trying to interfere with the game, and this isn't like, remember Orioles kid who pulled one over the fence?
Yeah, Jeffrey, what was it? But it was Tony Tarasco that he interfered with.
Yeah, but that was like, an innocent mistake. Steve Bartman, right? That's a guy who made a mistake, and he got exiled from Chicago as a city as a whole, had to change his identity.
That's tough.
Right? But that was like something that was innocent and accidental. This was...
As opposed to the most purposeful version of this we've ever seen.
Was
totally
flagrant.
intentional.
Egregious.
Totally intentional. And it also is like, isn't that what being a fan is? Like fanatical? Being irrational about your team and being irrational about the moment, right? That's what being a fan is.
I feel like there are maybe like 2 or 3 other cities where or baseball towns where you could see this happening. Los Angeles, I don't believe, is one of them. Boston, sure. Philly, absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe like a Chicago. But outside of that, it's like, I mean, I can't see this happening in Pittsburgh or in Miami.
I think when you go Chicago, the south side of Chicago, like Cubs fans have such PTSD from Bartman.
Yes.
They don't want anybody being in. They don't want any glove entering the field of play at any time.
Well,
but
the
you go to the south side?
The south side, they just don't want to win 100 or lose 121 games again.
Yeah, that's true. The thing that was amazing to me it was the reaction to and how actually split it was, but amongst Yankee fans and the rest of the public, because people were asking for them to be barred from baseball stadiums across the country for life, right?
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, it's obviously the Yankees were like, it's fine, until Major League Baseball forced them to keep them out.
Well, and it was, look, if it was just a thing where you tried to go and reach for the ball and such, but it was, I didn't see the video until this morning when I got here.
Oh, he Jaws of Life.
And I looked, and and that's, and I think he absolutely should be barred from every stadium in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and what they're saying from the Yankee statement is that the fans will not be permitted to attend tonight's game in any capacity for their egregious and unacceptable incident with Mookie Betts, right? That's just tonight.
Well, it's a starting point. You got to at least start with that, and then go back and review and look and see if you need to amend things and how much more you got to do.
And I wonder if Major League Baseball will eventually step into it. In a Major League Baseball will take action, because if Major League Baseball takes it out of the Yankees' hands, the Yankees are also, as an organization, they're dealing with this split that I was floored at. The Athletic had an article from their writer that was in the building, and this is a direct quote from a fan who talked to Capobianco as he was leaving the stadium. Said, "I told him he was my hero for trying to save the Yankees. It's the championship game." Like, there is an actual split of people who are like, no, totally fine. He's just trying to help the team win. Nobody in there, think about that with the rational mind. Nobody thinks that play was acceptable.
But if it were against the Yankees, those Yankees fans would be like, ban that guy for life from everywhere. String him up, tar and feather.
Yeah. And here's the crazy part of all of this, I think, is if somehow the Yankees were able to Red Sox this and become the first team to ever do this, that guy probably gets, a statue built in Monument Park.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, as dumb as this all is, it's like,
if somehow
that's the rally point.
If somehow, some way they do the unthinkable and they win this series, and if Aaron Judge in that single that he hit in the 8th inning where he got an RBI, finally he got a hit, should be noted, the game was 10-4 in the bottom of the 8th inning at that point, right? But all the pressure was off. He got a hit. If that snaps him out of his slump, if Judge, Soto, Stanton, and Torres just go on this tear and they somehow, some way, Garrett Cole goes out and pitches a gem tonight, and they bounce back and they do the unthinkable, they do the improbable, they pull an 0-4 Red Sox in the ALCS and they erase the 0-3 hole, this dude will be a legend in New York forever.
I heard Swag, I think it was yesterday morning, say that in the World Series, no team down 0-3 has ever gone on to even force a Game 6, let alone a Game 7.
So yeah,
we said that yesterday.
Did we say that yesterday? All right, you know. Hey, look, I get lost doing podcasting stuff.
No, it's okay. But I'm saying that's the thing is it's were they the fourth team to force a Game 5 down 3-0?
Yeah,
so it's
I think it might be the 5th.
It's either way, it's 4th or 5th. It's just it doesn't happen.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of World Series.
Yeah. So I mean, again, anytime you start hearing numbers like that around the World Series, this kind of, because I mean, when you get to this point, you're supposed to be the best team from your league or playing the best at that particular time, and so you don't typically run into these kind of situations. So
yeah, they are the 4th. You're correct. A 4-game sweep has happened 21 times. 5 games, the series has been over 3 times. Now heading into the 4th Game 5 ever. So I mean, it doesn't happen very often. And
crazy. Yeah,
but they've got Garrett Cole on the hill tonight, and they're going to try to keep this bad boy alive. And that's a wild part about this, is that those guys, full stop, complete idiots, but they will be viewed as heroes if I might ask you this: if they force a Game 6 and become the first team to force a Game 6, do you think these guys get propped up in New York lore?
Probably.
Because they're already trying to right now.
Yeah, they'll get a deli sandwich named after them at,
right?
at multiple places in the city.
In New York, that's a high honor, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's like getting a Thai dish named after you here in Portland.
Danny's angling for that now.
He's
angling for it now.
Bro, I went to that Eam spot night before last. I got something to go. And my wife is like, I'm not feeling very good. I'm like, oh, darn. I guess I'm going to have to eat that myself.
Yeah.
And, for being a tremendously white city, we have, the best Thai food of any, major city in this country.
If
it's
a certain
kind of
Thai
crazy.
spot at the corner of 185th and West Union is listening, I would love to find an order of Rust fish sauce wings.
Told you. Right there.
What would be a more tremendous honor? Getting your favorite food that you like whatever it is, being named after you at a restaurant, or having a restaurant that is supremely popular, an iconic. I know Gino's isn't the best cheesesteak spot in Philly, but it's the one everyone knows.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a
well, there's two. There's Gino's and what? There's two. There's
Pat's?
I think that's yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Gino's and
saying,
Pat's.
would you rather have an iconic restaurant have something on the menu for you, or would you rather have your favorite dish in the city at a smaller place be named after you?
Well, see,
I'm going to go favorite dish, because you can have a sandwich named after you, but if it's not at a really good spot and you don't like it, I mean,
then it's just clout, right?
But I feel like if you're a Philadelphian and you have one of the two most famous Philly spots naming that sandwich after you, and you're a Philadelphian, I have a feeling you love a Philly.
But what if you're an icon, you are a true dyed-in-the-wool Philly sports fan, but you're also a true dyed-in-the-wool Philly cheesesteak fan, and you're like, no, Gino's or Pat's is not it. It's got to be the niche market spot down the street, the corner store where they, it's just not quite as popular, but everybody knows that's where you really go. And I just always think about that. What would you, not always think about that.
The hidden gem.
These are the dumb things that go through my head. Which would you rather have? And I think it's,
yes.
I think I'm with Dusty. Yes. But I think I'm with Dusty. I think I'd rather just have my spot of the thing that I love.
Yeah.
As opposed to just the more prominent restaurant.
And I guess I would like to say that I would hopefully, if somebody decides to honor me with a dish or a sandwich,
you get some input.
I get some input.
There you go.
Well, it's even better though, in my opinion, if you're hey, go to this spot, ask for the Dusty.
Right?
right? Yeah.
Which is a
Yeah.
giant pickle sandwich.
Yeah, no, it's not. Actually, there was a cafe that my parents sold it to this gal Colin, and she named a breakfast dish Dusty's Dilemma after me.
Mm.
And that was like, it was like, hey, you're gonna want to go there, get the Dusty's Dilemma. And that there's something about that that's a lot better than, if you go anywhere and if everybody knows the place, you just get lost in the menu, right? And you're probably not the go-to item. So I'd like the go-to item, or I'd like the go-to or off the menu item at a secret hole in the wall place. That's where I'd want to go.
Like a Helvetia Tavern?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like that. Like that place. All right. Hey, I know a guy who likes food. He could answer this question. The voice of the Ducks, Jerry Allen. He's going to join us coming up next. Oregon, getting ready for a visit to the big house, and a place that Oregon has had success before. Is success waiting for him this time around? First is Rust with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, after staving off elimination last night, the Yankees hosting the Dodgers tonight for Game 5, looking to force the series back to L.A. for a Game 6. They're giving the ball to Garrett Cole, opposite Joe Flaherty for the Dodgers. 5:08 first pitch on Fox. Pregame coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 4 o'clock. ESPN reporting the White Sox, after a 121-loss season, hiring Rangers coach Will Venable as their next manager. He replaces interim manager Grady Sizemore, who took over after the August firing of Pedro Grifol. In the association, Trailblazers and Clippers get into it tonight at the new Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Robert Williams III downgraded to out. He's joining Shaden Sharp and Matisse Thybulle in street clothes. 7:30 tip on K2 Channel 2.2 and Xfinity Channel 302. The Blazers are 8-point underdogs. And in the NFL, Colts head coach Shane Steichen defending his decision to bench quarterback Anthony Richardson in favor of Joe Flacco, saying the veteran, quote, gives us the best chance to win right now, end quote. He added Richardson asking to sit for a play against the Texans because he was tired did not factor into the decision. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Your favorite fan shows are on YouTube. Mash the subscribe button and like us for live streaming video and 1080 The Fan on demand.
And Dusty, and this is a Eugene edition. Well, I'm in Eugene. Danny is still back in the studio. Every Wednesday, I'm coming down to Oregon practice, and as many times as we can, we want to catch up with the voice of the Ducks, Jerry Allen. A little story time with Uncle Jerry. How you doing, Jerry?
Go Dodgers.
Go. You're a Dodgers fan?
Oh, man. Yeah.
You're a big Dodgers fan?
I'm a big Dodger fan. Yeah.
How do you feel about last night?
I expected it.
Yeah. Well, it's a bullpen game.
Yeah.
Doesn't that bother you? That bothers me that
does.
we have bullpen games now in the World Series.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about modern baseball that bother me, but that's one of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, hopefully you guys can get it. Are you a
Heard you
big?
talk about Mookie Betts in that play.
Yeah, we did.
You
Have you ever seen anything like it?
Yeah, you see fans. I mean, in the was it game one? Torres hit would have been probably a home run or questionable. Same player, same batter, and the fan caught it.
Right.
So you see stuff like that happen. I mean, yeah.
What is the wildest thing you've seen while calling a game?
Probably when you see, well, some of those things.
I was saying you might not be safe on some of those.
Yeah, but if it's a really hot day, and it's really a bright sunshine and the students are out. But no, probably the craziest is when somebody, an outfielder races to the wall to make a catch in foul territory and does the flip and comes up with the ball. Those are,
that is crazy.
That is guts. Those are guts plays.
All right, Michigan. You've been there before. 07.
2007.
2 Statue of Liberty plays.
And they both worked.
What?
One was a Statue of Liberty. One was a fake.
Yeah, to Jonathan Stewart on the first one.
Right. Yeah.
And then Dennis Dixon on the second one. I actually heard the call. The football program put out the video of, and I was right there with you because everybody thought that ball was gone when Dennis pulled it and took it into the end zone.
Yeah. I mean, he hid that ball. I mean, it was perfectly executed. And to do it 2 times in the same game and have it work? No, come on. That's like the hidden ball trick in baseball and getting the guy out at first base twice in the same game. You're not going to see that.
No. Michigan was in it in a bad way that year.
And it's too bad because Oregon was good and we knew that the Ducks were good, and we're hoping to go back to Michigan and take them down as the first team to take. But App State beat them the week before, so it took a lot of the pizzazz out of Oregon beating Michigan. But App State beat them the week before, so Michigan's not very good. Oh, come on. They weren't.
It happens.
Game. There was 100,000 people, and it's the quietest it's ever been in a football stadium. All you could hear was Duck fans yelling, "Go Ducks!"
That's a great feeling.
No, it was. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. But it was good. Now, Michigan was going through a transition, which a lot of teams do. Oregon has done the same thing, had great years, then go through a transition and come back, and they obviously got it back. They're the defending national champion.
Yep.
So,
what's it like to call a game when you've got that massive humanity? When you've got that many people just making up the environment. Because it is as loud and crazy as Autzen gets, and it does, you've got half the people. When you're talking about a place like Michigan or Ohio State where it's just, is there something different about just seeing that many people there for an event?
Yeah, I don't want to say unnerving, but not even claustrophobic is not the right word. But when you're in amongst that number of people, and my mind goes there because I'm a science fiction nut, so I'm always thinking about things happening. So I'm thinking, if something happens, where am I going to go? How am I going to get out? What's this going to be like? I mean, do I just hide in a corner and hope nobody runs over me, or do I get squashed in the mad rush? But it is a little unsettling. It is.
I'm glad that you said that because I think that's one of those things that everybody kind of goes through where you go, am I the only person thinking of this right now? No. But I think every human being goes through all right, how am I getting out of here? How am I going to be the one to get out of here first?
The old Husky Stadium, before they remodeled, the press box was suspended underneath the grandstands. And when it got to be a really big part of the game, the fans would just go crazy, and the press box would swing, the whole box. And Brian Mulvison was behind me in, I think, our last year up there. Well, here's the press box. One year up there, and we got holes through the plates, the steel plates in the floor. We looked down, you could see the fans down below.
No way.
This is uncomfortable. Next time we went up, they got carpeted solids. I said, that's nice. And I was talking to one of the guys. He said, yeah, the holes are still there. They just put carpet over it. So anyway, it's shaking. Mulvilson's behind me, and I said, I tell you what, I think this thing is going down. If it does, you better get your ass out of the way because I'm going right that way fast. And I was serious. Jorgie and I were like, this is not good. Yeah. Great memories.
New Husky Stadium's great,
It's
though.
a beautiful stadium.
Nice.
Huskies have one of the most beautiful stadiums in the nation. Yeah.
What is your favorite place that you've been to?
Probably
Outside of Autzen Stadium. of course.
Probably Camp Randall.
Oh.
Yeah, no, Wisconsin gets it right. Their fans, when they jump, you're gonna love it. Have you been there?
No, I've never been there.
You're gonna enjoy it.
We got
It's
a
good.
couple weeks to go.
They do a good job.
And then, do you have what was your favorite Pac-12 stadium to go to? Rest in peace, former Pac-12.
Yeah, that's a great question. I really did not like going to Tempe in Arizona. I mean, not Tempe, but Tucson.
Tucson.
Arizona.
No.
That was not a good experience. Their fans their fans. If you're in Arizona, were unbelievably great. If you're an opponent, it was horrible. Best stadium, Memorial Stadium at Cal.
Yes, I was going to mention that. Berkeley does not get enough credit.
No, I don't. It's an old style football stadium. It's built right in the middle of a fault. But you look at the back of the press box, and all you see is San Francisco Bay, the skyline, and the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, it is Strawberry Canyon.
And Tightwad Hill.
And Tightwad Hill, and the cannon sitting up there that scares you every time it fires.
That's the only Pac-12 place. The other one that's the only other Pac-12 place I've ever been to for a game, and it was a fantastic. It was a Saturday night game. It was great.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned the fault line, though, of course. Then going back to the having a strategic plan out, of course you bring up the fault line there.
Right.
It's built right on a fault line. You knew that.
Yeah. So, but we don't have to worry about that anymore.
No, not one bit.
You got something, Jesse?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As the Ducks get ready for Michigan, this is it's kind of weird how this season has flipped on its head because at the beginning of the year, there are two games everybody was excited for, everybody was looking forward to, Ohio State, Michigan, because Ohio State everybody knew was going to be good, defending national champs. On Michigan, this was where the season was. It was kind of weird last week having the top 25 matchup be Illinois, and this one be against a 4-3 Michigan team. As the fans have kind of all adjusted to it, I think it's really interesting how you see this team every day. They have taken that business-like approach, and we've talked about it on the show. It's almost like it's cult-like in the way that they buy into what Lanning is preaching on the week-to-week basis.
I almost look at Oregon as a football program and their team, their players, as an NFL team. They go to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
They don't worry about the rankings in the NFL. They don't worry about, anything other than their next game, preparing for it and getting ready to hopefully be in the postseason. And that's kind of the mindset.
Yeah.
It's very uncollegiate-like.
And that seems to be the biggest difference between this year and what we've seen in years past, though, too, because Chip Kelly tried to have that.
Yeah.
But the program was at a point where they'd never been ranked number one before.
They weren't used to it.
They weren't going to New Year's Six Bowls, and the fan base was overwhelming with no, this is different. This has got to be different. That seems to be the biggest difference between the program now as opposed to 14 years ago or 10 years ago when they went to the second national championship game.
Yeah, I don't think back then it was being number one doesn't mean anything. Being in the top 10 doesn't mean anything. Back then they were enjoying it. They were living it. The fans were living it. The players were living it. And I don't think Chip really tried to downplay that. I think he was, hey, we've earned this. This is cool. Let's talk about it. I don't mind being asked that. But Coach Lanning and his staff understand that those things don't mean anything. I mean, he's got me drinking the Kool-Aid, if you want to call it that. Okay? I believe. Because one game undoes everything you've got. The goals are still there. You can still get to where you want to be. But you have to take each week seriously and not look ahead. and realize how vulnerable you can be if you don't play your best. How he has gotten that across to them, that's the magic of a head coach who gets it.
All right, I got a couple questions for you
Yep.
and you're going to stick around whether you like it or not.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Because what we're seeing with this team is pretty dang special, and I think there's one position group that may not be getting the notoriety that it deserves on the national stage. Jerry Allen, voice of the Ducks, he joins us. We roll on. Danny and Dusty on The Fan. Jerry Allen, voice of the Ducks, joining us. And I got a question for you, Jerry.
Go Dodgers.
Right now, go Dodgers. You just start every sentence, go Dodgers. The Oregon Ducks, they got a pretty good one, Dylan Gabriel behind center right now. You go back and you look at this quarterback position. There have been the hiccups, right? The transition between, Marcus Mariota and finally landing on Justin Herbert, where you had Vernon Adams, Dakota Prukop in there. There have been rocky spots at the quarterback position, but when you go down this run of Dylan Gabriel, Bo Nix, Anthony Brown, who has had a NFL career still, albeit as a backup, and then you have Herbert, Mariota, and the list just kind of keeps going on and on. Does this current run of quarterbacks kind of get lost in how productive Oregon has been at that position over multiple head coaches?
Well, I would say yes, it gets lost because you never hear anybody talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, none of the major networks, ESPN, nobody's done a story on the success, recent history, going back to Fouts, even you mentioned Norm Van Brocklin, and look at the number of quarterbacks that have gone on to the NFL, had success in the NFL, and most recently are really having success. Nobody talking about it. So I would say it's way overlooked. Yeah,
I remember, and we brought this up during the break because I kind of posed this question to you during the break. Jason Quick wrote an article back in 2013, actually October 29th of 2013, while he was with the Oregonian.
That's scary.
That is kind of scary.
Yeah.
And at that time, Kellen Clemens had gotten into a game for the Rams and attempted a pass. That extended a streak to 65 years of an Oregon Duck attempting a pass in the NFL every year.
And there's nobody close.
The next closest was Washington at 30, and their streak has since ended.
That's crazy.
Oregon's has continued because Mariota took over as a starter in 2014, and then Justin Herbert came in, and he has kind of taken the helm. Anthony Brown has attempted pass, obviously Bo Nix now in the NFL. So every single year since 1949, an Oregon Duck has attempted a pass in the National Football League.
Crazy stat.
I would have thought Alabama or USC.
Yeah,
Those are the two
right?
that I would have gone with, because even though neither university has produced high-end NFL quarterbacks, they just seem to end up being journeymen, but they just seem to linger and hang around for year after year after year. They have, backups or stepping into a spot. That the Ducks have a streak that long is just, that's nuts.
Yeah, I would never have thought it, because look, we think of Oregon's success in football, and it kind of really started with Bill Musgrave making a bowl game
right,
in the late 80s, right?
89, going to the Independence Bowl.
And then before that, though, it was some dark years, some lean years.
Yeah. But part of the reason I think really that you don't look at Oregon as quarterback U is because one of the first things that people look at is how many national championships, how many conference championships through that period of time have they won. And when you don't see many of those, you assume they couldn't have had too many good players unless you do a deeper dive and research on it. So, Oregon had Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma. They've won the national championship, so they automatically draw attention to those players.
Yeah.
Oregon hasn't.
Yeah, and I mean, like, outside Norm Van Brocklin and Dan Fouts, there hasn't been this overwhelming success of the quarterbacks either, right?
No.
But to Danny's point, and like, this with USC quarterbacks, I mean, you can be a really good college quarterback and produce NFL quarterbacks. It's what they do when they're gone is out of your control.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you just go down the list of USC quarterbacks for the last 15 years, and Sam Darnold's the only one where I was like, I can see him being an NFL guy. I mean, ever since Leinart was the last one. Leinart was the last one to leave there where I was just like,
to think that.
You know what I mean? Like, but the rest of them are like, I mean, Caleb obviously is the the brand new one, but I think he's a little bit different. But before that, you just didn't have. You had your John David Booties, and you had, I mean, after Carson Palmer, Leinart was like the last one, and then it just kind of became the hell, they had a backup quarterback that got a gig behind Tom Brady. It's just one of those things. You're like, how does this happen? But as far as like keeping a streak like that alive at a university that wasn't really known for quarterback play for that long is kind of a testament to where this thing started more than anything else, I think, because Yeah, I mean, obviously, Bilotti and Chip and the love that they get, and rightfully so. But it started before that. You had to. They didn't just prop themselves up out of nowhere. So, that's one of the more like. That's a stat that I would 100% get wrong at trivia.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't even cross my mind. That's what's crazy about that.
When you start with Norm Van Brocklin, I think about that, and I'd forgotten a guy like Tom Blanchard. I went to high school with Tom Blanchard. How'd you forget him? Holy cow! Yeah, he was in the NFL, but I remember Tom as a punter.
Yeah.
Not a quarterback, but he did play quarterback in the NFL too.
Yeah, he was. Didn't he was Saints, right? Wasn't he with the Saints?
He was the Saints. I want to say, gosh, I feel like New York, the Giants, or something like. There you go. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm old. I don't have memory.
Well, my dad went to
Dusty, right?
play. Yeah.
Dusty.
My dad played here with Tom.
Oh yeah,
and then ended up recruiting his son Tommy from Grants Pass,
Who was really good.
and they played up at Lewis and Clark.
Giants, Saints, and Buccaneers.
Hey, look at that!
Okay.
Look at that. We're both right.
right.
See,
Yeah.
we're both right.
Yep.
And then Jimmy Blanchard was a star at Portland State. I think he was an All-American up at
Yes,
Portland
he
State.
was.
The Blanchard family's pretty good.
Oh yeah. That was they were above average.
Yeah, and then I think Tom was head coach, athletic director at Grants Pass High School for a lot of years.
Coach
after
softball too there a lot. I mean, the whole family was just they were so good athletically, but they were even better as people. Or you hear that said a lot about players, but they were the real deal. They really were.
that. And you forgot about him.
On national radio, I consider this to be national radio.
Hey, technically we are.
Yeah.
It's,
No, I know.
it's
I
actually
know.
global. It's
Yes.
global because it's on
Global.
YouTube.
Oh, that's
So
true.
anybody watching around the world,
Okay. Hi to all the folks in Russia. Appreciate you being with us.
Isaac and Sue get picked up in Norway.
yeah, you know that AM radio signal, it can go over the globe sometimes.
It bounces around.
We get a lot of ham radio requests. Please send a bumper sticker our way. The travel for the Ducks. What have you made of the travel? Because everybody's talked a lot about it nationally. And we went on that trip to Purdue. It's a long trip, but it didn't seem like it was that much different than some of the other ones.
No, maybe an hour longer. It stretches a little bit. You put an extra movie on the iPad, or you take a nap. I mean, did basketball trips and baseball when we would travel back east or go to Florida or go to Connecticut? You adapt. You get used to it. I mean, it's if you were going every week to the other side of the country, an issue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, they're young too. You're young.
I'm 40.
You're a kid.
Yeah. All right.
You're a grown
punk.
man. You're 40.
I am. I'm a man. I'm 40. All
I've
right.
heard that before.
Yeah. Right. Well, Ducks head up to Michigan. Are you ready for Are you ready for this one?
Yeah, I'm ready for this one.
Okay.
I'm not concerned. I'm ready for it. I think the team's ready for it. But I think something that people overlook is something that you're going to hear more often now is that Oregon is a physical football team.
Yeah.
Their physicality that's being talked about. So now teams are not only getting ready for the finesse game, but now teams are going to challenge Oregon's physicality. So Michigan, Michigan's going to say, hey, these guys are not going to out-tough us on our field. So that's what Oregon will face now the rest of the way is that standard of physicality.
A little bully mentality.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
It's the one thing that you remember Chip Kelly said that very first Rose Bowl. He wanted guys that looked like Ohio State's because they didn't have them at that time.
I remember that. Their linebackers were big, but they were fast.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Jerry, thank you for the time, man.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you carving out a few minutes for us.
Enjoy.
Coming up here.
Go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers. Go Dodgers.
We are pro Dodger here. So
Yeah.
All right.
Well, especially after the Yankee fans last night.
Fans are fans.
They're fanatical for
They're
a reason.
fanatical. I mean, if you're a Yankee fan, you're going, God love them. That was a great deal. Good for them.
Now I just have this, like, as a Dodger fan, are you out in the bleachers, shirt off, and is that how you spend your off season? Is
I never did
Dodger
that.
dog?
Never did that. Nope. Painted up, blue, blue face. I never could get behind that because it had to come off. And
Yeah. Well, they go to the ocean.
that's true. No, that's not me. No.
All right, Jerry. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for
Dusty,
coming in.
Danny, thanks.
No, thank
All
you.
right. We will. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, it is tomorrow. Wow.
Yeah.
I got to go back.
That's the thing about the travel schedule. Ducks leave an extra day early when you head over to the Eastern time zone. So it is a little bit new when you bump everything forward one day further. All right, let's get to hour number 2 of the radio program. We still got to get Blazers have got a big one coming up tonight as they play against the Clippers. Whoa.
The other LA team.
The other LA team. And there's a little bit of controversy in college football as the helmet comms are now coming to a head. We have a new cheating scandal potentially in the world of college football.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Need inspiration?
Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. After holding off elimination last night, the Yankees host the Dodgers tonight for Game 5, looking to force the series back to LA for a Game 6. They'll give the ball to Garrett Cole opposite Joe Flaherty for the Dodgers. 5:08 first pitch on Fox. Pre-game coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 4 o'clock. ESPN reporting the White Sox, following a 121-loss season, hiring Rangers coach Will Venable, former Portland Beaver, as their next manager. He replaces interim manager Grady Sizemore, who took over after the August firing of Pedro Grifol. In the NFL, Colts head coach Shane Steichen defended his decision to bench quarterback Anthony Richardson in favor of Joe Flacco, saying the veteran, quote, gives us the best chance to win right now, end quote. He added Richardson asking to sit for a play against the Texans because he was tired, did not factor into the decision. And now into the association, Trailblazers and Clippers getting into it tonight at the new Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Robert Williams III downgraded to out, joining Shaden Sharp and Matisse Thybulle in street clothes. 7:30 tip on K2 Channel 2.2 and Xfinity Channel 302. The Blazers are 8-point dogs. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Hot Corner, now in its new time. Tuesdays at 7 after Isaac and Sue on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. Danny and Dusty.
All right, my rock smashes your scissors. Oh, no, not these scissors, pal. This is a special titanium steel alloy developed by NASA for the space program. These scissors that smash your rock to smithereens. No, not this rack. This rack happens to be kryptonite.
With the latest on the Blazers, Ducks, Beavers, and the hottest topics in sports.
Hey, what's happening, Norm?
Well, it's a dog-eat-dog world, Sammy, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear.
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
No!
The Fan.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Thank you for being a part of our day, letting us be a part of yours. I'm down in Eugene. Danny's up in Portland. We're partying on with the party people on the YouTubes. You got the view. I'm looking at a wall again, so you guys can see what is behind me instead of me just getting the good view. So thanks, party people.
Let's be fair. You do have a good view looking at both me and Danny, too.
That is true. That is true in your Mojo Dojo Casa House T-shirt today.
Exactly.
Yep. Bingo. And Danny, I'm just kind of, I'm sure you're going to wear it tomorrow. You're going to wear it tonight on the Rip City wrap-up.
I'm going to wear it on the TV tonight, but I'll wear it into the studio tomorrow.
You're going to wear it tomorrow. No. And I will be gone the next 2 days because Oregon does travel to Michigan on Thursday for the Saturday game. It'll be a 12:30 kick right here on the Fan.
What are we looking like for weather?
It'll be crisp, low of 34, high of 55 in Ann Arbor that day. I think during the game, it'll be between 55 and then get down to a low of like 50, as I've been acutely aware of the weather now that I have to be outside and on the sidelines. I get cold really easily, Danny.
Yeah, I was thinking about our little December trip as far as weather, and I looked at the average weather in D.C. that time of year. It's 36.
Yeah. Well, for those that don't know what you're talking about right now, Danny and I will be going to Army-Navy this year.
Indeed.
And we will have more details on that coming up in the coming days and weeks. But you and I are taking the show on the road to Washington, D.C. for Army-Navy, which is awesome.
It's going to be brutally a kick-ass trip.
Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal time. And to see the game of all games, we'll be hosting our show Friday from Washington, D.C., leading up to the Army-Navy game. And I still am. I'm a little worried about the prospects of an Army-Navy game being played literally the week before in the American championship game. But that will be strictly just a football game. No pageantry, no bells and whistles. It's just Army versus Navy if both of them go unbeaten in American Conference play.
Boy, if only you guys could have found a way to take your producer with you.
Somebody needs to pedal, you know?
He's not wrong.
Somebody needs to pedal this station.
We could get Will in here. Schultze, somebody.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Bueller?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rust. But yeah, we'll be going to Army-Navy. We'll have more details on that and more of the pomp and circumstance around that coming up in the coming days and weeks. But I'm super pumped for that. Did you hear about the big concerns around the Big 12 right now? This is interesting, and I thought that this would be a matter of time, but I also thought, the NFL's been doing it for decades, and they haven't had this issue. The Big 12 brought a halt and then have restarted their coach-to-player comms in the wake of concerns over the ability for others to listen in to the coach-to-player helmet comms. Apparently,
that seems mildly problematic.
I think more than mildly. I think this would be a big problem. Apparently, this came to light with Texas A&M and Arkansas playing at AT&T Stadium, an NFL stadium, 2 teams, not Big 12 teams. And there was a concern about it. But apparently this week, it was brought to light by a couple of the Big 12 schools that they were worried that somebody or schools could be listening in to their frequencies of their player-to-coach comms. Now, Big 12 is trying to say, no, we're putting an end to this. It's all encrypted, nothing to see here. But I just wonder, like, this is the most college football story of all time.
Yeah, not having like just like very, 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 very simple basic encryption on the headsets is insane to me.
Well, they are.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying
are.
that they're running into problems with it is just like, wait, are we not using the exact same thing the NFL is using? Like, what? How are you running into this? Like you had the Patriots trying to record in booths because they couldn't get into the headsets. So what the hell is going on here? I can't wrap my head around like why is this an issue? Like the problem has been solved. We don't need to resolve it.
Well, and this is where is the most college football thing of all time, right? Is because someone in stadium operations who is hired by the hosting conference is responsible for each game in running the helmet communications. Because what happens is the communications get cut off at 15 seconds in the play clock, right? So inherently, this is the most college football thing ever because they always think somebody's out to get them, right? Is there a group of more paranoid people than college football coaches?
No, because, Lincoln Riley's out here, at Oklahoma.
Mafiosos.
Yeah, even then, I don't think
I don't think so, Russ.
Lincoln Riley literally made dorms paper over their windows because he didn't want the dorm that overlooked the practice field in Oklahoma to be able to be filmed. Now, the problem was the stupid Oklahoma students were filming, and it was getting out on message boards and stuff like that. But again, we are not dealing with nuclear secrets. It is football. So calm the bleep down.
Yeah, it is one of the more bizarre things in the world of college football. And I think one of the reasons why college football coaches are so paranoid is because they do know that in the world of college football, everybody's looking for that edge kind of against the rules, right? I mean, this paranoia didn't come out of nowhere, but with this case, in this case specifically, it's like you mentioned Bill Belichick and the Patriots, right? If there was anybody that was going to crack the encryption codes and ability to listen in to helmet comms, wouldn't it have been the New England Patriots? Like, wouldn't it have been somebody in the National Football League? Like, I mean,
where there's literal money on the line.
And now they're like, you know what? We're doing it better because we're college football.
Yeah.
No,
that's what I'm saying. You're inventing a problem that has already been solved. It's like why? What's going on here? There's no reason for this, and it's like elevating to a level of uncertainty and security that we don't need to do it because again, we've solved the problem.
There is no glitch to fix here. There's no glitch to fix. But the Big 12 is back to their helmet comms. So good on you, Big 12, for creating a problem that didn't really even exist. This is like, who was it? Who was it that said their Colorado. Remember Colorado where they said that somebody had, or they thought that Oregon had accessed their film?
Yeah.
And then the company was like, no. Nobody has accessed your film. Yeah. You just got beat.
Real quick on that, like I have access to proprietary, shout out Neil O'Shea for that one, proprietary stats in the NBA. But and I can look at every single team. But when I do, there a little tag pops up of like, I have looked at it. Like, so it's the idea, like, unless you were able to like quite literally hack somebody's system and which means like use a Colorado administrator's ID to get in there, which then you're breaking like the gains there are not they don't match the federal charges that you get for doing this.
For hacking a computer of a public institution?
Like you're quite literally like the laws that you are breaking, the felonies you are stacking up to watch Colorado's practice footage.
Yep.
You're not reaping a lot of rewards there.
Nah, the juice ain't worth the squeeze on that one. All right, Austin Rivers is a guy he's a person that can be.
He's a person who played basketball.
He did play basketball. He can be a bit of a controversial figure. He said something, though, that I believe hit the nail on the head, and I want to bounce this one off of you. We'll get to that next as Danny and Dusty on The Fan.
Hello, sports fan.
Happy Wrestling Wednesday to all that celebrate. You know, that is it's a special holiday. Ooh, This reminds me. So we decorate the house. We do Halloween. We got spooky graveyard. We got like babies eating spiders and zombie babies and skeletons hanging. Yeah, dude, it's really creepy. Hot Tub Greg, when he moved to Spain, he was like, "Here, have all my Halloween stuff." And there was a lot of weird stuff in there. So shout outs to Hot Tub Greg.
Yeah, like we got like Jack Skellington and some minions.
Oh, yeah, no. He gave us the creeps, the sweeps, and the bleeps. But my son yesterday goes, Dad, isn't it crazy that, some people in the neighborhood, they don't celebrate the holiday season? And I was like, come again? And he's like, the holiday season. My son is like, Halloween? Yep, that's the start of the holiday season. We're here.
I can get behind that. I can get behind that. Yeah.
Because as a kid, holiday season is candy and treats, right? Candy and prizes.
Absolutely.
You get gifts. This is a big run for him. He's gonna start loading up starting tomorrow, and he's gonna have a war chest by the end of Christmas and New Year's Eve.
If we're lumping Thanksgiving into the holiday season, which is a month before Christmas, why can we not lump in Halloween, which is nary a month before Thanksgiving?
I think it is the beginning of the holiday season. I'm going to agree with the young Hera here, and I pointed this out to Jeff Russ this morning. I was driving to the grocery store last night, and I passed two houses in my neighborhood, and I said out loud to no one in my car, no, this is not okay, as I saw fully lit and decorated Christmas lights before Halloween.
Yeah, I was saying before the show, I was in Michael's like 2 weeks ago, 2+ weeks
They've
ago
already
with my
flipped over.
kid, and they had like one aisle of Halloween stuff, and everything else was already Christmas.
It's great. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Then I had to say, well, but not everybody is into having babies eating spiders crawling on their front yard. He was like, oh.
To which I
okay.
say, cowards.
Fair point. All right. Austin Rivers is a man who actually made a fair point as well. And he, like my son, often does not make reasonable or sensible points. This, though, I think is brilliant. And more professional athletes need to say this.
I hate that basketball is the only sport that people who have zero history of playing it just think they can play it. You don't go to your local LA Fitness, YMCA, basketball, whatever, I don't know, wherever your gym is, right? And go play football or pick up baseball or pick up soccer. But basketball is one of the very few sports that everyone plays and everyone thinks they can play and everyone thinks they're better than what they are, including their kids or whatever they do. But I go to these leagues sometimes just play for fun, just because my homies do. I just go have some good time. Some guy will like pick me up full court and be like, I'm like, you're an idiot. You have no idea what you're doing. And I'll like go around them and dunk or like hit a three and they're like, whoa. Man, you're so much better than I thought you were. But like, you're a moron. I'm one of the best players on the planet. You don't even know what you're talking about, bro. I played in the NBA for 11 years. You're out of your mind. But people like have this delusion because they wear like they got the ants on of James Harden lows, and they got their elite socks, and they got their little spandex elbow, and they watch YouTube clips and play 2K. And because everywhere you can play basketball, you go to a local park. I'm looking at a park right now with 8 guys right now shooting. One of those guys thinks he has a chance. It's just it's the most delusional sport of all the sports.
It's the sport we always say too. We're like, could this guy plug in? We always do it with our friends too. You'll hear them talking. They'll say, if I played in a game 40 minutes, how many points would I score? But like, we don't
how
do
many
that
points
with
would
other
I
sports.
score? Bro, you suck. You wouldn't score any. Now listen, if we let you open the whole game, I love it. They're like, if I was open, I would make one of them. You're not going to be open. It's a basketball game. I'm just going to guard you and take the ball from you, dog.
Right. Rain dance.
He's not wrong. And he
is so right.
It's the barrier to entry. Soccer's probably the one that's the most because it's like it's ball on foot. And it's like, it can't be that hard. And it's like, if you only knew, like one of my favorite things is when like professional soccer players just get on the pitch with fans and they just, have you seen the video? This ignited a whole nother one. Have you seen the video of like the 17-year-old going against the entire women's national team for a country? I can't remember where it is, but he literally dribbles through all of them. And it's not to say that, oh my God, women aren't good. It's to say the difference between a professional male athlete and at the peak of their sport is such a insanely different thing. Well, you just have no idea.
I remember even when I coached my daughter's first and second grade soccer team, and they had a program where some UK coaches would come over and help give coaching advice and tips and such. And so, for like once a week, they'd be at your practice. It'd be like 2 of them. And these are just, they're Brits and they're soccer players, and they're not like famous coaches or players or anything.
But they were probably like pretty damn good when they grew up.
But to watch their skills, it's just it's a different level.
I've told this story before. When Greg Oden was here, I played on a city league team with his roommate that moved out here with him, and I would be at the 24-hour fitness in Tualatin when he wasn't supposed to be, when he was working out. And there was one time, and keep in mind, I'm fresh out of the military. I'm in some of the best shape of my life, right? I'm 230 pounds. I think I'm strong as hell. I could, squat a Volkswagen. I get up behind Greg as he's doing some post work, and I kind of body him up like I'm playing some post defense on him. I put my elbow right in the small of his back, and Greg just power crab dribbles me, lifts me off the ground, drop steps, and dunks on me so hard I damn near peed down my leg.
Yeah,
whereas
you're also a foot and a half shorter than Greg Oden.
But I mean, that's what I mean. Like the idea that you have no clue how big, strong, fast, dominant these guys are.
Whereas when I was leading the 7th grade girls in warm-ups doing, skips backwards and running backwards and try to do a somersault at 43 years old, I made it halfway over and went, I don't think I'm going to make it all the way.
I think
I did.
If we are power ranking the sports of delusion, I think basketball is actually second to golf.
Oh, that's another good one because you can just pick up the
golf.
Only,
golf is one where like you're like, dang, I'm really good, and like there are moments on the PGA Tour where a guy looks average or looks normal. If you ever just follow a professional golfer around, and like when I say professional golfer, I mean a Korn Ferry Tour golfer, right? You follow them around.
I don't care. It could be the pro at Redtail.
Yeah. But when you follow around a true, like somebody who is on the tour or has tour potential, you go even to the red tail golfer, which smokes everybody, right? The red tail pro or, wherever they're a club pro, they smoke most of the guys, if not all of them at the club that they are a pro at, right? But if you go and you see a truly professional golfer, you go, oh, that's different.
Have you seen the latest video from Tiger Woods?
Different. And then you go and you see where they actually tee off from, and you go, oh.
How is that a mile back further than from where I tee off?
When I play the whites, that's not where I tee off from. It's like, they're backing it up a hundo, buddy. Like, it is nuts to watch those guys. I think golf is number 1. Basketball is number 2. And I think in America, soccer... we have this idea that we could play soccer. We can't.
No.
We can't.
We are so far behind.
No, we're not. But that would probably be 3.
Did you see the latest
rankings.
Tiger Woods video of him playing with the boys?
No.
So I can't remember who it was. I think it's at his home course that he does this, where he'll bring out like some good golfers and they'll get like a lesson from him, kind of a deal. And they had like a driving contest. And of course, there was probably money on the line. And guy pipes it, hits it like, I want to say probably like 305, 306.
Hey, let's go.
I mean, it's like he's just like, yeah, go. Tiger gets down on his knees.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
Just rips it down the fairway like 330. And you're like, what? What is this? Yeah. What is this just hellscape that I've walked into where even in the best day of my life, I can't do what this guy does from his knees.
When he is broken.
When his legs don't work and his back has got a rod in it.
Yeah, it just rips your soul out.
Yeah, where he can't even make the cut anymore.
And it's
that version of Tiger is the one that can't make the cut.
Yeah.
And he is doing this. Imagine Prime Tiger, who was making the other professionals feel
like that.
Just
gross.
It is. It's insane. So hat tip to Austin Rivers.
He's not wrong.
A golf clap there. And can I just throw this one out there too? I'll go wrestling. Since it's a wrestling Wednesday, I think there's a lot of people like it's scripted, it's fake. Dude, what those guys and gals do is actually ridiculous.
Oh, I could go out there and do an elbow drop off the top turnbuckle.
Yeah, all right. And then we'll get you out of the hospital in 6 months.
Exactly.
You know? Like, that's it.
Rey Mysterio ain't got nothing on me.
Yeah, you end up like Tom Segura with a compound fracture and a torn ACL.
Probably.
You see that? He tried to
Sounds
have
about right.
It was a couple years ago. It was a bit he did with Bert Kreischer, and he's like they were having a dunk contest on like a 6-foot hoop, and he goes to jump and his ACL blows.
Oh, compound fracture. He got a tip fib there.
It was horrid.
Yeah.
All right.
Horrid.
Well, no, I will say that when it comes to dunking on the dunk hoops, we had those in the Rust backyard when I was a kid. So.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, like now again,
and we had it.
raised
it was adjustable.
4
We could
feet.
go from 6 all the way up to 10.
Those guys are doing
clearly.
that
I
on
never
a-
went to the 10-foot.
on a rim 10 feet high.
Yeah.
Like
we'd get up to like 8.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Here's a text, Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat
also,
you right
we were playing
before,
with the
during,
jam ball.
and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. I played soccer at a very high level as a youth player. Got picked up by a USA team going over to play in Europe. We immediately got dropped to the lower level in the league and still only won a few games. Difference between being good here versus over there where soccer is life. I was level with the schoolyard kids that weren't even on a team.
Yeah. It's just different. The other one
Sounds
here,
about right.
People think they can box. They have no idea.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You find out real quick.
I don't.
Oh yeah,
I don't.
You find
I
out
don't
real
think
quick
I can.
what number one fast hands are and what heavy hands are.
Yeah, I spent a good chunk of my life trying to not get punched in the face.
No, dude, that's not even it. You get hit in the body, and you're like,
that liver punch.
Okay, how about punched at all?
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yep.
Coming up on Worst Day on the Web, you do not, in fact, have to hand it to them. You don't. That is an option. But first, here's a Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, after staving off elimination last night, the Yankees hosting the Dodgers tonight for Game 5, looking to force the series back to L.A. for a Game 6. They'll give the ball to Garrett Cole, opposite Joe Flaherty for the Dodgers. 5:08 first pitch on Fox. Pre-game coverage on 910 ESPN. Portland starts at 4 o'clock. ESPN reporting the White Sox following a 121-loss season, hiring Rangers coach and former Portland Beaver Will Venable as their next manager. He replaces interim manager Grady Sizemore, who took over after the August firing of Pedro Grifol. In the association, Trailblazers and Clippers looking to get into it tonight in the new Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Robert Williams III downgraded to out, joining Shaden Sharp and Matisse Thybulle in street clothes. 7:30 tip on K2 Channel 2.2 and Xfinity Channel 302. The Blazers are 8-point dogs. And in the NFL, Colts head coach Shane Steichen defending his decision to bench Anthony Richardson in favor of Joe Flacco, saying the veteran, quote, gives us the best chance to win right now, end quote. He added Richardson asking to sit for a play against the Texans because he was tired did not factor into the decision. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan Merch Locker has new shirts from the fan shows and hosts you love. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com. It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Well, that sucks.
Doubling down on stupidity. Remember last week we had the Civil War reenactors, or excuse me, World War II reenactors, walk into the restaurant wearing their stormtrooper memorabilia, regalia, uniforms, as it were.
Stormtrooper?
Yeah, that's where the name comes from. The Star Wars
Is the
stormtrooper
SS?
comes. Yes.
I never knew that.
I did not know that either.
Well, of course you didn't. You're not a Star Wars man.
No.
Nah,
No,
bro.
but the actual stormtrooper comes from the German Blitzkrieg and the SS.
Well, okay.
Yikes.
Well, learn something new every day.
Not to be outdone, firefighters in Nova Scotia showed up at a Halloween party in full Ku Klux Klan regalia.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Firefighters?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh,
North
boy.
Sydney, Nova Scotia, and they are very sorry from the bottom of their hearts in a post posted to social media. When your folks comment that they shouldn't have got in and that we need to do better, you're right, and we will, says the Deputy Fire Chief Wade Guthrow. Our firefighters are some of the most caring, helpful individuals you ever meet. I will assure you that we are all hurting on our hearts today, that we have disappointed the community we work so hard to better and protect.
Yikes,
Pictures and videos shared on
dog.
social media show 4 people wearing long white robes and pointed white hoods inside what appears to be the North Sydney Firefighters Club. One person is carrying a large cross.
Yikes.
Wow, I thought Nova Scotia was pretty diverse. No, wait, that's not right.
Oh, boy.
I saw a post the other day of when do we have the first cancelable white person showing up in an inappropriate Halloween costume.
I mean,
and it didn't take long. It was somebody. It was a white person showing up in blackface as Diddy with
Yes.
his girlfriend in
As
a baby oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
yowzers. How is it that nobody in this day and age still knows that you can't do blackface?
Well, you can if you're Jimmy Kimmel.
No, that was.
Wait, did I miss that?
Jimmy Kimmel did it as part of the Man Show when he was Karl Malone.
Okay.
I believe that was in. Doesn't make it right.
No.
Doesn't make it
It's
right.
it's still hilarious.
Doesn't
Well, the
make it
Man
right.
Show was a
But-
long time ago.
No, what I'm saying, no, too, is it wasn't like he did it recently, but that still doesn't make it right. He did it 25, 27 years ago or something. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was saying no to the recency of it.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
That's not good.
No,
Not good.
blackface. Don't do it.
No.
Look, you know who can wear Klan stuff? There actually is
The Klan?
Yes, yes. Ding, 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 and Clayton Bigsby.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I'm drawing a blank.
Dave
here.
Chappelle.
Show.
Oh, okay.
The Chappelle
Gotcha.
Show.
Those are
Yeah.
the people who can wear Klan stuff. The one person we associate as the black white supremacist, who may be the best spoof done ever, and actual Klan members. It's for one very specific reason. So we know who to punch.
Yeah, sure. There we go.
Yeah, because they got it coming.
Yep. They absolutely
Here's
do.
the insane thing.
Who thinks that it's funny? They're like, you know what's going to be hilarious? Is when we show up dressed as the Klan. No.
Klan, Nazis.
I have an idea of what kind of signs and flags they have hanging off the back of their pickup truck.
Well, I mean, not even that. Just like, what else is like, what are you doing level?
Yep.
Is there anything like more what are you doing level than those two?
Blackface and KKK hoods.
Yeah, it's like well,
No,
and,
that's-
and you know, Nazi, like wearing like World War II, like not even ironically wearing it, like thinking it's funny.
Well, you know what?
like dressing as Hitler.
Yeah, all it says is, "I see your true colors shining through."
It's like, is there anything worse than those? Like nothing's jumping front. Like
no,
all of the gore. Like give me all of like the supremely gory Halloween costumes.
Yeah, no.
Hell, dead baby Halloween costumes. Like there's so many
Yikes.
things. Like look again, not great, but like you're like it's Halloween. You know.
Even walking around with a fake baby in a jar is probably better than a white hood.
Seriously, like there's so many terrible things you could do that were just like, it's not in good taste.
Aren't
but
even that bad.
It's Halloween.
Yeah.
Like that's like, what are you doing? Here's the insane thing: they let him into this party, and they said that all right, maybe we shouldn't have done it. And then they went to them and said, hey, can you take off the hoods? And some of them refused. And it's like, oh, that's not good.
Oh, no.
And then, however, it says,
well,
the
hey, you know
firefighters-
what that tells me? They probably are members of the Klan.
Yeah, and it says, however, firefighters have since been threatened with harm. Good.
Yes, good.
Good?
Yeah.
The only Grand Masters I want to hear about are Dungeons and Dragons. If you're not if that's not who you're vibing with, good.
Yeah. Well, and even they can't even say it's because of my freedom and my First Amendment because they're in Canada.
They're in Canada. They have no rights.
That's not quite where I was going with that, but yeah.
Wait.
They don't. They're not actual people.
Yeah,
they make good syrup.
What amendment is that one, Canada?
Good luck, suckers.
You guys
I
still
don't
have the
think that
queen on your money.
flies.
Yeah.
Well, I guess now it's the king, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess do they have to go and remake all the money?
I don't know. Their money's called loonies, so what do we care?
Yeah.
Because they loony.
Yeah. I don't understand.
But I guess do they have to go and put King Charles and all the money now and reprint everything? That seems expensive.
They say, you know what we're going to do? Everybody bring your money back. We're going to go Newsies. It's like a jersey exchange.
You swap it out. Yeah, it's
Yeah. Although I guess but I'm talking just even in terms of the printing it.
They probably if they do new ones, they probably do.
Yeah.
That's what I'd imagine.
Although
Also,
I guess they put their money into that instead of like a big old defense budget like we do here.
well, they don't have to because we do. That's the part of that. The thing that I'm wondering is how I feel like the Klan is very geographical. How did it transcend borders? Don't get me wrong. Racism, global.
Yeah.
Plenty of that.
Oh,
But
hate knows no borders,
right?
buddy.
But like very specific hate groups, like Nazis and the KKK. Like,
yeah.
typically it's regional. Like, how did the like? I mean, I know how Nazis ended up in maybe, Argentina.
Maybe we're actually doing something and pushing them out of here.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe these are the guys that left those blue states. They're like, screw this. I'm gonna go up to Canada where my hate is acceptable.
Yeah, they feel like Nova Scotia is their safe space.
It's a small island.
I mean, my dog's from, or my last dogs were from there, but like, they weren't racist. they didn't import their racism. I'm just trying to think of like, wouldn't you find like a different hate group? Like, don't Canadians have their own hate groups?
What, like the anti-Tim Hortons?
Well, no, I mean, there's obviously very real issues between like white Canadians and Native Canadians. Like that's the thing that transpired.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own mass grave sites up there. So I would imagine like they have their own.
I don't know, like. I just think of it as like, I don't know, I have weird analogy here, but like biker gangs. They start in one place and they kind of go everywhere. It's a gang. It's a hate group.
Yeah.
You know, like
Sam Crow.
They're gonna try and find like they're like, now you guys don't come to America, but you know you can hate too. I feel like that's kind of their.
I mean, yeah, the Sam Crow.
Right?
They hate them Mayans.
Also, the Vancouver Ford text line has indeed informed me there are some costumes that would be on the same level. I won't say them on air. But
yeah, let's not do that.
You've got some winners in there. Congratulations. Also, the one I can't say on air, go with your best friend and be the Twin Towers on 9/11.
Oh, that's the one you can say?
I mean, yeah. Read the text line. You'll understand.
Jeez.
But again, that's still probably better. Just obviously don't do the racist part and go brownface.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Let's not how about let's just
probably leave that entire thing alone.
Maybe that's what they mean. Call a timeout on hate.
Yeah, right. Oh, there you go.
Have you seen those commercials?
No.
You haven't?
No. I don't know.
They're ridiculous because they're like, let's call a timeout on this hate.
Okay.
We're not going to end it.
We're just gonna. Let's just do a pause.
We're
gonna take a 30. This one's gonna be a full.
Yeah.
It's like no.
We'll come back on the other side of the commercial.
We'll
break.
go to the review board.
Yeah. We're gonna just call a timeout really quick. We're gonna. Pay no attention to
This
longer.
Quick,
This is gonna be
complete squirrel moment, but you just reminded me of something.
That's this whole segment.
Yeah, I
Danny.
know.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I mean, here's a complete squirrel moment. I was watching the Warriors game last night, the TNT game, and Buddy Hield hits a 3 at the end of the third quarter, and Kevin Harlan has a great call for it, and then he goes seamlessly into a Liberty Mutual ad read and ends the tag out with Liberty Bibberty.
A thick 6.
And it was exquisite. Like to go from end
Kevin
of quarter,
Harlan,
quarter 3 from Buddy Hield, yes, with the excitement, and everything behind it, and then into an ad read where he just goes Liberty Bibberty.
Yeah, he's
and
not my
does the
favorite.
tag out to go out.
I've made it clear he's not my favorite because he's kind of cartoonish, but he understands the assignment.
It's so great. Like, it was so fundamentally good. And your idea of the how I haven't seen those timeout commercials, I have developed what I call my it is my evolution.
I'm with you. Explain, because I do it too.
So
I do it too.
I have this innate ability to tune out all commercials.
Yep.
Like
I'm there.
The second it cuts the commercial, like hell, even here, the second we go to commercial, somebody like, hey, I'll ask, hey, did we play that read for whatever this? And like, yeah, we played it like last segment. I'm just like, huh? Everybody getting mad about the Burger King commercial when it was going on. It probably ran 4,000 times in my house. But the second we go to commercial, didn't bother me because they're going to my laptop. I'm going to my phone. I'm going to talk to my wife. I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going to the kitchen. Like,
I woke up with an earworm today from an ad that gets played on here, and I couldn't get it out of my head all morning.
I
awful.
have the ability. I don't necessarily tune them, but I am so quick to have a backup when commercial time hits. And last night, I had no backup.
Oh.
I was stuck on World Series. So that's where I thought you were going with it. I will go
the
to
change
a backup
channel.
channel. I'll have something it's in queue, ready to go, where I'm jumping to the next one almost immediately. And I've dialed that in just to be like, boop. And I know I got, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever it is. I'll just catch the back end of some commercials. Last night, World Series, I was stuck. I was stuck in one place, and I didn't like it.
You weren't flipping over to TNT to watch some basketball?
No. It was well, we were also carving pumpkins. Had to get that done. We got that done. We got pumpkins out of the way.
Well, speaking of pumpkins, I don't know. I got nothing there.
No.
I'm just kidding.
You were going somewhere.
I was, but it was gonna bomb. So I'm just gonna pocket that one for later. Jameson Williams found himself in more trouble for something that he did before he got in trouble for the new trouble. And we'll get into that next here on Danny Dusty, 1080 Fan.
Oregon Ducks
you listen to the Ducks postgame show following the Ducks win this weekend over Illinois? Whoa, my brain forgot. I almost said Indiana.
You got it.
Then text in the answer to the very best player of the game, 503-864-6326 for a chance to win a free pizza from Bellagio's Pizza. You can participate every single week all season long. Just listen to the 1080 The Fan postgame show following every Ducks game and listen for the very best player of the game. And then normally it would text in on Monday, but we've been slammed through it. So Mondays, you can text it in, but this time, text in right now, 503-864-6326. The Bellagio's very best player of the game, and a nice little selection we made for a free Bellagio's pizza.
Hey, 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 hey.
Nom, 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 nom. All right. That's the good stuff. The bad stuff. Jameson Williams. We might actually need to pocket this just because we're up against it. What do you think? Should we pocket this one?
We can just roll it over.
Okay, we'll just roll it over.
We can go both.
Yeah, there we go. Well, there's a ton of NFL news to get to, and we will do that here coming up next year on 1080 The Fan.
I'm Michael.
Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan. After staving off elimination last night, the Yankees hosting the Dodgers tonight for Game 5, looking to force the series back to L.A. for a Game 6. They'll give the ball to Garrett Cole opposite Joe Flaherty for the Dodgers. 5:08 first pitch on Fox. Pre-game coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 4 o'clock. ESPN reporting the 121-loss White Sox hiring Rangers coach and former Portland Beaver Will Venable as their next manager. He replaces interim manager Grady Sizemore, who took over after the August firing of Pedro Grifol. Over in the NFL, Colts head coach Shane Steichen defending his decision to bench quarterback Anthony Richardson in favor of Joe Flacco, saying their veteran, quote, gives us the best chance to win right now, end quote. He added Richardson asking to sit for a play against the Texans because he was tired did not factor into the decision. And in the association, Trailblazers and Clippers, they get into it tonight at the new Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Bob Williams III downgraded to out, joining Shaden Sharp and Matisse Thybulle in Street Clothes. 7:30 tip on K2 Channel 2.2 and Xfinity Channel 302. The Blazers are 8-point underdogs. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Got a smart speaker? It's The Fan in your office and every room of your home. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan. Danny and Dusty.
My Uncle Gus is the uncle that likes to work the grill. As soon as you walk in the house, it's like, get away from that grill. You don't know how to start no fire.
With the latest on the Blazers, Ducks, Beavers, and the hottest topics in sports.
We're going to eat a hamburger, okay? Here we go. Chandler, throw the mat. Now that's a fire.
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
I'm not cooking them Brontosaurus burger.
The Fan.
Hour number 3 here on Danny and Dusty. We're listening on 1080 AM, watching along on YouTube.com/1080 in the fan, the Twitch.tv/1080 in the fan. We appreciate you. We love you. Thanking you for hanging out with us on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. The doom and gloom of the worst weather known to man has truly hit us, which means basketball is in the swing of things, baseball is wrapping up, and football is gearing up, and boy, is the stupid hitting in waves. Jameson Williams, wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, who has been tremendous, also tremendously dumb. He's been popped for PEDs, banned substances, not PEDs, which has yet to be revealed what it was that he was tested positive for. But a bigger story is currently brewing. The week before he tested positive, he got pulled over in the passenger seat of his brother's car.
Oh, boy.
Now, his brother was pulled over for speeding, and he has a conceal and carry permit, and he had his firearm on him. Jameson Williams also owns a firearm, and it is registered to him, but it was in the car under his seat. He does not have a CCL.
Oh.
Now,
that's not good.
He was eventually let go. However, he should not have been. I don't know how it transpired or how they got a hold of it, but WXYZ in Detroit, the ABC affiliate, did some investigative reporting, and they got the body cam footage that has also the audio. The two officers originally on the scene who pulled him over, the brother originally tried to say it was his, and Jameson finally admitted that it was his. He tells the cop repeatedly, bro, I play for the Detroit Lions, as if that matters.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh, yeah. He went full Kento Woods. He also...
Here's my rookie card.
Yeah. Neither of the officers appear to be giving him any preferential treatment because he's a Detroit Lion, he's famous, all those kind of things. But because he did say this, a senior officer or sergeant is called on scene. And this is not unusual. For those that don't know, if somebody of his high profile is pulled over, they want to make sure they bring somebody in, dot every I, cross every T, because the media is going to get a hold of it. And if you screw something up, it's going to make things infinitely worse. So Sergeant Snuffleupagus shows up, and the body cam picks up his cell phone that he has in his hand with the Detroit Lions logo as the background. He tells both the cops, like, jokingly, I'm so angry at both of you. And he's very aware of who Jameson Williams is. He starts making calls to higher-ups in the Detroit Police Department, various lieutenants and captains, and it appears that he is going to be booked for illegally possessing a firearm. Then he gets a phone call from another lieutenant who tells him, well, you can't hear the conversation, but the outcome of what the sergeant says is, so we're good to let him go? Awesome. Thank you. And then they proceed to let Jameson Williams go.
Oh, boy.
Yes. And now,
oh, boy.
Now the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office is reviewing a warrant request for the arrest of wide receiver Jameson Williams on a concealed weapon charge.
Brutal. So how did this come out then?
WXYZ, it said the warrant request was made after an internal affairs investigation was opened after WXYZ TV asked the police department why Williams wasn't taken into custody. How they found out about him being pulled over, I would imagine, is sourcing. Somebody somewhere said, yeah, Jameson got pulled over and it just he had a gun and didn't make it out.
Well,
and
obviously a lot of people were called on this, and most of them were not aware or not wanting to let him go, and then it kept going up the ladder, and finally somebody said, no, we're just going to let him go. Oh, this is a brutal look.
Which does, for those that are unaware, it does happen.
Yep, well,
see, the University of Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, most professional sports teams, most college sports teams.
I'm just saying, just in general reference of what has transpired lately.
Happens all the time.
What happens to happen is some chief, some captain makes a phone call to coach or the AD because there's a direct line there.
Yep.
And they go, hey, pulled one of your dumbass kids over doing 90 in a 45. Here's what he was doing. Here's how he was doing it. We let him go this one time. Him or anybody else does this again, they're spending the night in jail.
Crazy.
You know, that's the kind of situation.
Well,
that's
in this, like the sliding scale of how good you are to how many dumb mistakes you can make, and now you have to ask the question about Jameson Williams. Like, how many things are going to happen to where they're like, okay, and enough is enough, because we have the gambling thing. We have the PEDs. We have the weapon. It's piling up pretty quickly for Jameson Williams.
Yeah, and the thing is, I want to point this out because it does matter. The firearm was legally purchased and registered to him. He just does not have a conceal and carry permit. Which
but
depending
you
on which
you know that.
Yes, depending on which states you're in. I don't look. I've said this before. I am a pro Second Amendment individual. I have multiple firearms.
Yep.
I have probably more experience with firearms than collectively hundreds of thousands of people. If you are a professional athlete, I don't understand how a league does not help you get it. Why they don't themselves, like, hey, if you're not going to hire security, if you are going to carry a firearm, here's how you get it. Like, we will, the same way they make, Uber and Lyft rides available for athletes who there's a number you can call at any time and you don't have to drive home. Set the same thing up for conceal and carry. Like, if you want to go through the class, you want to go through the training, here are the organizations we have vetted and work with directly. If you want to do it, here's how you do it.
Yep.
Because there is no reason why, if you meet the criteria and you go through requisite training, why you shouldn't have one.
Yeah. No doubt
Conceal
about
and
it.
carry permit, not a firearm. I'm saying, if this is something you actively want to do, which I have heard so many stories about so many players that in multiple sports where I went, they're pro firearm, huh?
I'll be darned.
No, I'm not talking about the Chris Kaman types who are out there hunting all the time. Those guys are everywhere. But yeah, I mean, they look no further than Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah.
Guys feel like that's how they want to take care of things, and they're not going to have security. So Jameson Williams did half of it, but he didn't do the other half of this, and I'm not sure what the warrant would carry with the charge. I don't know in Detroit or in Michigan if that charge is a Class A misdemeanor or if it rolls over to a Class C felony. Again, not familiar with Michigan law there, but this feels like the kind of thing, when matched with the banned substances, Dusty, that could turn into hitting the commissioner's exempt list pretty damn quick.
Not great, Bob. Not great. Well, I don't know if he gets the commissioner's exempt because of the combine, but ongoing criminal investigations, that's usually where you hit the commissioner's exempt list, which is not good, and it's usually recommended by the team. And I don't know, the Lions may just be in a situation where
they're
like,
backing him here.
We're gonna be okay with his dumb because he's not hurting anybody. He didn't hurt anybody, and he's gonna have to come. The repercussions he'll have to deal with on his own. But he's really valuable to us. And that's the reality of it. The Lions aren't going to do anything as long as he's very valuable to them, and he is.
And the direct quote from Dan Campbell, for me, I judge people over what's in their hearts. I know what this kid's made of. He's worth hanging with, so he's going to learn from this. He's going to grow, and he'll be better for all of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just got to be. He's got to get the stupid out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got to cut that crap out because it's going to catch up with him on the field eventually. Because again, this is the third one. You have the gambling, the performance-enhancing substance, and now this. Like, it's a whole lot of dumb mistakes in 1 year for one guy.
Yes.
Damn.
I mean, not only that, there's a lot of times of getting caught, which means more than likely there's a lot more dumb out there that he's not getting caught for.
Well, you ain't lying there.
And I mean, you hate to make the insinuation, but when have you not seen that be the case?
Never.
No, it was really just those 3 times.
No, never.
So
never, ever.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes a situation where you look at everything that's involved there, and this sounds terrible because it always boils back to the football. But you have to wonder if this stuff ultimately ever ends up becoming a legitimate distraction for the Lions.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
You think they're built tougher than that?
Well, I just think that these sorts of things are easy to just be like, well, whatever. It doesn't affect us on the field, so adios. When it starts really tangibly hurting them, then it does, right? Then they'll say, like, if they lose a game because, I don't know, Amon-Ra St. Brown gets hurt while Jameson Williams is suspended and they are depleted at wide receiver and they can't move the ball and Jared Goff has nobody to throw to, yeah, then guys are going to be like, hey, your stupidity is getting in the way of us winning. When Jameson Williams' actions start taking out of other guys' pocketbooks is when they're going to start caring.
Mildly problematic.
Yep.
Speaking of mildly problematic, I think that's the way you can sum up the Indianapolis Colts right now, where they are not only changing their quarterback, they appear to be sending a message to their top quarterback prospect in Anthony Richardson. We'll get to that and more coming up here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome.
Shane Steichen and the Indianapolis Colts are doubling down, as it were, on Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback, not just for now, but going forward. They, for some reason, decided to take the podium and state very clearly that they would not be going back to Anthony Richardson, and that this was a move for the immediacy, and they would judge it in the future. In the same breath, they also seem to keep pointing out that Anthony Richardson checking himself out of a game for a play had no factor in this, in which I'm going to go ahead and say bull bleep. I think Anthony Richardson entirely and completely, totally lost the locker room in a way we've never seen a young quarterback do it. And it's going to take Anthony Richardson ripping the job away from Joe Flacco.
Or Joe Flacco's body breaking down.
But do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think they're saying, we're going to make you earn it. We gave you the opportunity because you were the guy we invested in with a high pick as a young player to go out there, and you were okay, but you got injured, and then you did something that's going to require you to make it. You're going to have to figure this out. You need to work.
No doubt about it. I hate all of this for Anthony Richardson. I said this yesterday. They knew that they drafted a project. They got their project, and they're saying, not too much, right? And this is like akin to, you buy a house, you say, I'm gonna do a lot of this DIY stuff, and then you realize, oh boy, we're in too deep. I can't do this all on my own. So then you go and you hire somebody else to do a little bit of that work for you. That's exactly what the Colts are doing right now. But with the Indianapolis Colts, it's like they could reap the rewards of developing and letting Anthony Richardson grow if they wanted to, right? But just like me, when I was resanding and refinishing my hardwood floors, I got to the point where I said, I'm going to screw this up. And I feel like that's where they are with Anthony Richardson. And they're not that far off, but I feel like they feel they're going to screw up the development of Anthony Richardson. And they're saying, in doing that, it screws our chances of being a competitive team, being a playoff team, and winning playoff football games. Because do you watch Anthony Richardson and think that's a guy who can win a playoff game?
No.
And this is where you can screw up your entire culture, your locker room, and you want to see guys really go and say, we're out on Anthony Richardson. Have a roster that is ready to win a playoff game. Roll them out there with a quarterback that is not as good as his backup and say, all right, now we're going to take money out of your pocket. Because that's where you absolutely lose everybody in Indy, right? And this is where I think the Colts they're in a really tough spot. They've done a disservice to Anthony Richardson by not allowing him to play or playing him too soon and before he was ready.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they really have. I mean, the disservice may be knowing what you had in Anthony Richardson and bringing in Joe Flacco, which on the surface seems like a good idea, but
he's still too good.
Everybody knew. There's a clip from Kirk Herbstreit in August that's circulating when he was doing a preseason game saying Joe Flacco is better than Anthony Richardson, or Anthony Richardson better be looking over his shoulder. Like, everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. Joe Flacco was the disgraceful comeback player of the year. Asterisks there.
So good that they had
not
to
anything
change the
he did to
rule.
be disgraceful, but DeMar Hamlin should have been comeback player of the year. We all know it. I'm going to die on that hill. I will die on that hill. But they did a disservice to Anthony Richardson by bringing in a backup who was better than him. And when that happens, you know that this is going to be the case.
Short-lived.
I think that him pulling himself out of the game, I don't think it is the reason, but I think it's the excuse that they can use. Yeah. And they're not using it as, they're not leaning on it and saying that's it, but public perception turned on Anthony Richardson enough to where
in that moment
they can pull the hook on him and say, you know what, fans aren't going to get mad now.
The other part of this is, and I think this is where the grander scheme discussion goes, and I believe this to be true in the NBA as well as the NFL. And there's Mike Richmond, Locked On Blazers, asked Chauncey Billups first Pelicans game about having, sage old vets and the age of the NBA. In that it's what Chauncey thought, and Chauncey said, I'm not sure of the numbers, but it feels a lot younger. In 2023, the league was made up of was it? I want to remember 30% players that were 30 or older, or 10 years of action or older. That number has dropped to 21%. That's a pretty staggering difference in 2 years. Right?
Holy smokes.
Okay. And you can feel it. The league is younger. And I think you're seeing the same thing in the NFL. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how different that looks over the next couple of years as NIL continues to take hold and players develop. But I've seen multiple different aspects of this as it pertains to both NBA and NFL. God, I want to give credit where it's due, but I remember a report yesterday saying that NFL executives and scouts are telling quarterbacks specifically, spend 2 years starting in college. Otherwise, you will get to the NFL and you won't make it.
I think that everybody wants to rail against NIL. NIL is great for this. NIL is great for guys like Anthony Richardson not having to jump to the NFL before they are ready, and now actually being able to get the bag in NIL. Anthony Richardson is going to be the cautionary tale, in that he could have stayed at Florida, could have gotten NIL, could have been okay, and could have developed more, but he went to the league. And look at the guys that are successful, right? The guys who are coming out and playing well as rookies, like Caleb Williams. He was a 3-year starter in college football, right? 3-year starter, Heisman Trophy winner, nothing left to prove. Jaden Daniels, 4. Bo Nix, 5. Right? I look at these guys that they have a wealth of experience behind them, and they're thriving in the first year.
And the NFL is, and the reason why that the Colts are switching to Joe Flacco is because of the imminent pressure of the NFL. You are not allowed to have long runways in the NFL because every game matters so much more because there's so much less of them. And because of that, it's every single year, even if very simple example, even if your team is going to suck, see Panthers of Carolina, they're still making quarterback changes because their owner wants to win. And everybody wants to win. And this whole idea of having a plan and sticking to it and allowing things to develop is just not something many organizations are set up to do because their owners and front offices are either not on the same page, they've not been able to communicate it. Hell, look at the Atlanta Falcons when they drafted Michael Penix. The heated argument between the front office and ownership.
Yep.
Of what the hell are you doing? We just gave Kirk Cousins $100+ million guaranteed.
Yep.
And so you see this, the NFL, I think, is slowly going.
They had no other holes to fill.
Right? But I think you're getting to a point where there has to be an understanding. And if you're going to take a quarterback that is this young, did he turn 21 yet? Because he came in the league at 19.
20. I think he is 20.
Because, he's one of, if not the youngest quarterbacks. Oh, no, he is 22 now. He turned 22 in May.
He's 22?
Yeah. I thought he came in the league at 19. Maybe he was coming into the draft at a month before at 19. But, yeah, it's crazy to see the expectation of young quarterbacks and asking them to develop, but also expecting them to win. It's you go back to Peyton Manning. And I know that's the one everybody points to because that's the Hall of Famer that was successful after having a bad year. But Josh Allen's also another one of those. Most guys aren't good. Most guys aren't C.J. Stroud. Most guys aren't Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
And yet the expectation, because those guys exist, is that, this guy's a bum. We need to get him out of here because we need to win now.
Well, and look, there's a reason why the New England Patriots drafted Drake May with the idea that they wanted to shove him on the bench. They just couldn't any longer, right? It was because he only started 2 years, right? Mitch Trubisky, look at Mitch Trubisky and Anthony Richardson, parallels, dude. Not a lot of tape, didn't start a lot of games in college, got drafted due to their tangibles, and their measurables, well, experience matters, especially at the quarterback position. Quarterback is the one position where the more snaps you play, the better off you're going to be. And I mean, Jaden Daniels played so much damn football in college, it was ridiculous. I think people forget, like, Jaden Daniels played so many damn games between Arizona State and LSU. It wasn't like he was just came out of nowhere. The dude, I'm looking at his stats right now, and Jaden Daniels, he played 55 games in college.
Is that a lot?
He attempted damn near 1,000 passes, or 1,400 passes. He damn near completed 1,000. He was 953 of 1,438 in college. That is a far cry than what Anthony Richardson, what he had in college. Let me look up his college stats. All right, Anthony Richardson. All right, so 1,438 attempts for Jaden Daniels. 393 for Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference between the two is staggering. Staggering.
I mean, that is so in 24 games to 55 games. I mean, that is a massive difference.
He literally got him doubled up.
Yeah.
In experience.
In everything. And it looks like it. It looks like it out of the gate. Experience matters so much. And look, Anthony Richardson being too honest with the media, that is going to be a ripple effect that's going to last with him for a really long time.
He's going to be Belichick from now on.
But you know what? Guys like Brian Flores goes, you see that guy the 6 plays prior? Like, he was running around. He had 300-pounders on his back. Like, I'd be tired too. Well.
Just don't say it publicly.
Don't say it publicly.
All right, coming up next, the Portland Trailblazers take on the Los Angeles Clippers, as Jeff Russell says that they are going to get into it at the Intuit Dome.
You like that?
That's
a good one, isn't it?
I like that one. Little, it's very punny. They're going to take on the Clippers tonight at 7:30. We'll talk a little bit about that game, but also going to dive into this rookie class. Tom Haberstroh, who's featured on the Trailblazers broadcast as the analyst, the advanced statistics analyst, had a article published on Yahoo that talks about just how god-awful this rookie class is and how it stacks up all time. We'll get into that and more. But first, here's the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
You ever had a Big Kahuna burger?
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, after holding off elimination last night, the Yankees hosting the Dodgers tonight for Game 5, looking to force the series back to L.A. for a Game 6. They'll give the ball to Garrett Cole. Joe Flaherty for the Dodgers. 5:08 first pitch on Fox. Pregame coverage on 910 ESPN. Portland starts at 4 o'clock. Also in baseball, ESPN reporting the White Sox, after losing 121 games last season, hiring Rangers coach and former Portland Beaver Will Venable as their next manager. He replaces interim manager Grady Sizemore, who took over after the August firing of Pedro Grifol. In the National Football League, Colts head coach Shane Steichen defending his decision to bench quarterback Anthony Richardson in favor of Joe Flacco, saying the veteran, quote, gives us the best chance to win right now, end quote. He added Richardson asking to sit for a play against the Texans because he was tired did not factor into the decision. And on the hard court, the Trailblazers and Clippers looking to get into it tonight at the new Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Robert Williams III downgraded to out, joining Shaden Sharp and Matisse Thybulle in street clothes. 7:30 tip on K2 Channel 2.2 and Xfinity Channel 302. The Blazers are 8-point dogs. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan.
The Fan.
Intuit Dome. It'll be their first foray into the NBA's newest building, where they will face, at least for one half of basketball, the Wall, the new fan-centric zone built by or designed by Steve Ballmer. And
it's the coolest damn thing in sports right now.
The Clipper Illuminati, whatever.
Whoa.
Yeah, whatever.
What?
We're
workshopping.
Yeah,
We're workshopping.
I'm trying to figure it out here. It's spitballing on air, but they have to figure it out. It bothered one of the best shooters of all time in Kevin Durant in the Phoenix Suns. It took them a little while to get used to. I think it's the exact opposite situation as you saw in the bubble, where the static black background and the consistent depth that the bubble provided led to a shooting surge heretofore not seen for a lot of players in the NBA. This is up there with one of the most distracting and disruptive backgrounds and backdrops that you can have on the court in the NBA. And I think this is going to be a fun, interesting little thing. And I'm really, really interested in talking to the guys after the game and see what they think and how it impacts them. As it sits right now, the Clippers are currently 7.5-point favorites, a significantly smaller line than the Sacramento Kings at 12.5 points. So the Clippers are a team that they don't make a lot of sense. Kawhi Leonard not playing. They are led offensively by James Harden and Norman Powell. Stormin' Norman, 22 points in the fourth quarter of the night.
Where was that Norman? Portland.
He played well here, but he was also
played well.
Yeah. But he was also being forced to play small forward because Neil Olshake doesn't know how to build a roster. Who instead wanted to put a 6'4" guy at the 3 alongside a 6'3" guy alongside a 6'2" guy.
How many wins did they project?
So it was about roster construction.
Yeah, no. One of my favorite Chauncey Billups lines of all time was where he basically said, "Screw it, I'm just going to play him," and he was talking about all the guys under 6'4". He's like,
roll out 5 guys with nobody taller than 6'6".
He literally played a Dame, CJ, Ant, Norm lineup where he was like, "Screw it, you're not gonna give me size.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw my 4 best shooters and creators on the floor and see what the hell happens." Now they got pummeled, but I at least was like, I understood what they were trying to do. It's like you're zigging when your only option it zags not on the table, so you zig. But Trailblazers have 1 win on the season. I would expect them to. This is probably going to be a competitive game. I don't think they're going to win, but I feel like this is a strong cover opportunity. They take on the Oklahoma City Thunder back home in Portland on Friday for a 1-game homestand before they go out on the road. The Blazers are going to play 7 games in 7 different cities.
Oh.
In a row.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because they come home for that 1 game. So they have the 2 road games, the Sacramento, LA, come home for 1, go out for 4.
Well,
very unique situation.
No scheduling breaks. What is the update on Robert Williams? Do we have an update on Robert Williams anytime soon?
Yeah, I would expect today was probably the first chance he had to come back. I have not heard that he is going to. I have not heard that he is going to try to give it a run tonight. I think if they're going to try to play him, they would like to do it at home.
I think the last I saw, he's
ramp
out
up
officially
back
tonight.
Yes.
But after yesterday being a game time decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ramp him up back at home is kind of
That's
always
typically
been
what
that
they
target.
like to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if there is an opportunity, I think you're looking at Friday at home against Oklahoma City.
And to be quite honest, it's better that way in case anything does happen. Then he's close to home.
You've got all your doctors and all your
everything,
equipment. You're very
there.
familiar with everything there. But that's where the Portland Trailblazers stand. And the Trailblazers have Donovan Clingan, who is a rookie, and Tom Haberstroh.
So good. I love Donovan Clingan already.
He's been very good. In fact, you might be able to argue that he has been the best rookie in this class. Now, that is said with an asterisk. Why? Because this rookie class has been horrendous. Now, we talked about this draft class leading into this draft and how underwhelming it could be and how many projects there were and how there weren't a lot of guys with top-end talent and things of that nature. Like, Donovan Clingan, as good as he has been and as enjoyable as he has been, do you know what he is currently averaging, his actual production, Dusty?
Well, hold on. Like, are you talking about
per game?
Not per 36 or anything like that?
Just per game.
I know minutes-wise, it's like 12 minutes a game.
13 on the dot.
Okay.
13
minutes. Oh, I was going to go 6.
Go. Yeah.
I was going to go 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 block shots.
4.3 points, 5.8 rebounds, 2 blocks.
All right, yeah. Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I
4,
was,
6,
I was
and
trying
2.
to give him a basket.
Yeah.
Trying to give him a basket.
He's
Sorry.
shooting just under 64% because, dunks are good.
Mhm.
His per 36 numbers, 12 points, 16 rebounds, 5.5 blocks.
I think we would take that.
Great. The issue is if you go through and look at all of the rookies in this class.
That's a stupid thing that you just said. Like, not what you said, but just to think about how
blocks.
ridiculous that stat line would be. His per 36.
Yeah. 12, 16, and 6. Like, wait, I'm sorry, what?
All right.
Through the opening 3 games across the NBA for every team, not a single rookie has registered 15 points. Not one. It is the first time in NBA history.
Wow.
Last year you had 8. The year before that, 12. The year before that, 11. The year before that, 7. And in the 3 years before that, 12, 13, and 12. So 2014-15, you had 1. But I mean, this is just not something that happens. Bob Carrington, I believe he's the highest scorer right now, has 13 in a game. 13.
That's your high for a rookie.
Washington Wizards, Bob Carrington.
Yikes.
Okay. Now, you also have players that teams traded real capital for. See, the Minnesota Timberwolves to move up and grab Rob Dillingham. He has not played for the Timberwolves. Reed Shepherd, who a lot of people picked as their rookie of the year, I mean, my pushback on it has always been Ime Udoka doesn't like kids. He doesn't play kids. If you give him veterans, he's going to play the veterans. Why? Because he's a coach who's been to the NBA Finals and knows that kids aren't good.
Ime hate the kids.
And it was like, Terry Stotts hated rookies. No, he hated playing bad players. Rookies are bad. Veteran coaches don't like playing rookies.
Oh, you mean bad players drafted by a certain former general manager?
No, just in general. Like, you go ask
He
any.
made so many great choices, though.
Look,
Wait,
the only rookies who get real burn, Wemby, LeBron, Zion. Like if you're a generational prospect, you get burned. And even then, if you go look at all the advanced stats, all of the analytics, the amount that they impact winning, despite some of the box score stuff, because their efficiency is usually so bad, it's a negative. Like, go look at rookie year LeBron and look at all of the output, and you're like, oh my God, that is insane. And then you look at the efficiency and you go, oh my God, that's insane.
That's even more crazy.
It's like, that's not supposed to happen, but it does. The guy that I had for my rookie of the year, Zach Edey, he has more fouls, 15, than he does field goal attempts. He's only averaging 16 minutes a game, the lowest of any starter in the league. He is getting the Noah Vonleh memorial treatment, where Noah Vonleh, if you remember when he was a Trailblazer, started at the 4 in the first quarter, started at the 4 in the third quarter, and in those 2 shifts, he played 7 minutes and never touched the floor again.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, Zach Edey, in Big Ten basketball fans, if you look up Zach Edey on Twitter, they are just screaming from the rooftops, this is what it should have been like in college too. Because every Big Ten fan just said he fouls every single play.
Yeah.
And they never called it. And now in the NBA, they're like, yeah, dude, you can't just bowl into people. You have got to be savvy with the way that you go ahead and throw people around.
Which actually makes Donovan Clingan a bit more impressive, because he has been avoiding fouls while being a very large man.
It does. It makes it, and he's not getting very many minutes, so it'd be really hard.
No. Speaking of minutes, this rookie class also has yet to have a single player register 30 minutes or more played in the game.
Whoa.
Last night, Cody Williams of the Utah Jazz logged 29 minutes and 58 seconds. He is the first player, and the Jazz are in their 4th game, so this is only the first 3, to come close to touching that 30-minute threshold.
Wow.
And if you go back in recent history, the last couple of years, 9, 11, 19, 7, 16, 10, and 15. This class has 0.
Whoa.
That truly puts and paints in perspective just how bad this class is.
What Cody Williams shoot last night against the old he was 3 of 7.
Yeah,
he had 9 points.
I would say he was 2 of 6 when I looked. So yeah.
Whoa.
And he's going to have more opportunity now, probably with, unfortunately, Taylor Hendricks out for a very, very, very long time with a dislocated ankle and a fractured fibula.
Still haven't seen it.
Yeah, avoid.
Very happy about that.
And I won't. I will not seek out that video.
Avoid at all cost.
Yep.
It's tough.
Yeah, I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Yeah, so it's an interesting spot for everything to kind of be in this rookie class. It doesn't mean it's redemptive. It doesn't mean like some guys won't figure it out. It doesn't mean like Bub Carrington's a bust. It's just this class right now, it is very much what we thought it was. It's project-based, and there's going to be a player here or there. Ryan Dunn, who's down in Phoenix, who couldn't shoot in college. I think he hit 12 total threes in college, and that was the knock on him. Best defender in college, can't shoot to save his life, wouldn't shoot to save his life. Now he's hitting threes in the NBA, and he could end up being a very impactful 3-and-D guy. So there's some weird anomalies that are kind of popping up here or there, but I think this is going to be an interesting thing to track throughout the rest of the season, and also maybe get people to chill ever so slightly on Donovan Clingan getting 30 minutes a game.
Yep.
Stop asking me that. It's not happening.
I don't want him to get. I don't think he needs 30, but I would like to see it tick up closer to 20.
I would like to see him be
outside
capable.
of more than 13.
I would like to see him be capable of playing 20.
He played 20 at college. That's half a game.
You know what? I'm actually
very different.
I'm just fine right now with him playing exactly what he is, because whatever we see the best of Donovan Clingan is exactly what Blazer fans should want. And right now you're getting the best of him, and he's doing it in spurts. That is fine. His growth is not being stunted, and this team is not in win now mode. So I'm totally okay with what we see from him. We'll see it later on in the season. I mean, they've only played a handful of games, but I understand the frustrations. Everybody wants to see the new toy out there.
Oh, look, new shiny, always great. Yeah. Always great.
And this is supposed to be a down year, and in my opinion, it's supposed to be a down year. Let the young guys run.
Yeah, there's plenty of time for that. 82-game season, and he'll get his. He'll get his.
It is.
Jeff, if you play him too much, they're going to win games.
Here's the crazy thing. Like, if I just sort, If I just sort the top scorers in this rookie class right now, Bub Carrington's at 8.7, Jamal Shedd at 8.5, Eve Missy at 8.5, Jalen Wells at 8, Jameson Battle at 7.8, Ryan Dunn and Zach Edey at 7.8. Zachary Richer, who was the number 1 overall pick, was at 7.3, and the number 2 overall pick, Alex Sarr, at 7. Like, that's the insane thing, is you've got 3 lottery picks in the top 10 in scoring. 3 lottery picks in the top 10 in rookie class scoring. That's a pretty
low bar to clear too.
Yes, Donovan Clingan currently second in rebounding. Sarr is averaging 6.7. Donovan Clingan at 5.8. Decent class for shot blocking. Ease Missy, Alex Sarr, Donovan Clingan 2.3, 2.0, 2.0. Not a bad place to be.
Not bad at all.
So, all right, that's our basketball stuff for now. Well, we'll have a little bit more here real quick. But after this, we'll put a nice little bow on today's show before we hand you off to Isaac Suk here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
It's time for a Blazers report on the Fan. The inside story on the Portland Trail Blazers. Brought to you by Aztec Willie's Taqueria.
As we just mentioned, the Portland Trail Blazers take on the Los Angeles Clippers for the first time down in the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. The Toilet Bowl, 1,400 toilets in the building. The Wall, obviously the big fan feature for the rowdiest and loudest fans to distract opponents. Portland Trail Blazers currently 7.5-point dogs. Their first chance to get a road win after falling to the Sacramento Kings. They will return home Friday to take on league darlings, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and Chet Holmgren. And what will be game 3 of 7 games in 7 different cities. This Trailblazers Report on the Fan is brought to you by Aztec Willie's Taqueria, the best place to go before and after games or any event. Check them out on the corner of Southeast 15th and Broadway or at AztecWillies.com.
Aztec Willie's Taqueria has been Portland's destination for homestyle Mexican
Our long national nightmare is over. I saved this one for you guys.
Oh, what do we got?
Thanks to the Copyright Office, McDonald's franchisees now have the right to repair their own ice cream machines. In March, the FTC filed a comment in support of this change. We'll keep using our tools to protect the people's right to repair. If you're ever wondering why the McFlurry is always down, it's because there's a part in that machine that the original builder of it says nobody else is allowed to touch, kind of a deal. And they had to use this exact company to repair this machine. So anytime they went down, they had to contact them. They didn't have the capacity to fill it. It was basically a scam.
I read something that said basically if you're at a McDonald's and their McFlurry and ice cream machine is down often, that means it's one that actually tries to maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's one that doesn't ever have that thing shut down, they don't try to maintain it and they don't give an S.
There you go. So, but they now have the capacity to repair on their own, which means that means that McDonald's will be able to build the widget, as it were, at their headquarters to replace it.
I mean, if they could get with Coca-Cola to formulate their own formula for the delicious McDonald's Coca-Cola, why can't they do that with the McFlurry machine?
You'd think that they would have tried to find a way, but the McFlurry people are apparently more difficult to deal with.
Yeah, watch out for those McFlurry people.
Right?
It's a racket. All right, that'll do it for us today. Tomorrow... You got Big Will Betson, Danny?
Indeed.
Is that who it is?
Tomorrow and Friday.
Friday. Double dip of Danny and Will while you're out in the sweet swagginess of Ann Arbor.
Yeah, I'll be taking in the fall scenes of Ann Arbor, Michigan. All right, I will see you guys on Monday. I'll be back on these airwaves come Saturday when the Oregon Ducks take on the Michigan Wolverines. Up next, it's 4 hours of power from their mouths to your ears. It's prime time with Isaac and Sook. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
Bye.
Let it rain! Rain dance!
Auto accident? Worried about your deductible?